Hello, my amazing artists. Today we are going to be creating snowflakes. To create our snowflake, we're going to need a scissors and a piece of paper. If you would like to use a pencil to draw your shapes that you're going to be cutting out, that could be a helpful tool to have with you as well. I'm just going to be using the paper and the scissors. First things first, I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to fold the short edge over to meet the long edge. So I have a triangle and a rectangle. Let's do that. So I'm curving that paper over, doing my best to line it up nicely. Then I'm going to start my crease in the middle and work my way out. Now you can see I have a triangle and a rectangle. Alrighty, I'm going to cut off the rectangle. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to follow that line at the edge of my triangle to cut off the rectangle. And I'll set that rectangle aside. I could make little snowflakes out of that paper later. Alrighty, so now I have a triangle, which is also technically a square if I was to unfold it. I'm gonna take my triangle and I'm gonna fold it in half so that it gets smaller. Then I'm gonna take one of the flaps of my triangle, like its hand, and I'm gonna bring it up to touch its face. And I'm gonna do that on both sides. So now I have a lot of folds to work with. With each of my folds, as I cut half of a shape, it's going to unfold to be the full shape. Every space that I am cutting out is going to be a negative space. It's going to be a hole. So as I'm cutting, I like to work with different shapes. One of the shapes I like to use a lot is a triangle. To make my triangles, one side is the folded part on the fold. The other sides are the cut parts. And as I'm cutting shapes, I'm trying to think about how those shapes interact with each other. The most interesting snowflakes are ones that have a lot of negative space, and where the positive space, the part of the white paper that I'm leaving behind, is an interesting shape. So here I'd cut two straight lines in that were horizontal. Then I'm finishing that shape by cutting a vertical line that connects. Now I'm going to turn my paper and I'm going to cut a shape out of this edge. I think I might use a triangle again. So I'm going to cut one edge that's horizontal, and then I'm going to cut another line that's diagonal to meet that horizontal line, or vertical line actually, is the way I'm holding it. Alrighty, now I'm going to do one more shape over here. I think I'm going to do another triangle. So I'm going to cut in a vertical line with the way that I'm holding my paper. Then I'm going to cut in a diagonal line to meet that vertical line to finish my shape. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to alter the edge of my snowflake. I'm going to use two diagonal cuts to do that. This makes the snowflake just a little bit more interesting to look at. All right, and another diagonal line to meet the first one that I did. All of my scraps are going to go into the recycling. Now I'm ready to reveal my snowflake. So I can unfold each of those triangle folds that I did and my last triangle fold to reveal what used to be a square piece of paper and now is a beautiful, unique snowflake. Pretty awesome. Let's repeat those steps one more time. So I'm going to start with my rectangle piece of paper. And I'm going to fold my rectangle piece of paper so that my short edge meets my long edge, making a diagonal fold. I start my crease at the middle and I work my way out. Next, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut off the rectangle that's next to my triangle. If you are feeling super fancy pants, you could make yourself some really teeny weeny squares to work with from your remaining rectangle scraps. Now I'm going to fold my triangle in half, so I've got two smaller triangles. Then I'm going to fold it in half again, one side at a time, so that I end up with an even smaller triangle. And I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing. I'm doing my best to really line up those edges of the paper with each other and make nice, crisp folds. This time I might work with some different shapes, so maybe this time I make a heart. So I start with a diagonal line, And then I start to curve the line that I'm cutting to make kind of a rainbow line, kind of make a bump that comes in to make a heart. Maybe we're going to use a lot of hearts on this snowflake, so I'll do another one. And again, I start with a diagonal line and then I curve it around to finish with a rainbow line. Maybe I do a really big heart on this side. And as I'm cutting, I'm thinking about the negative space, that's the piece that I'm cutting out, and the positive space that I'm leaving behind. Maybe I do an upside down heart to finish this off, or maybe I'll do a diamond. I think I'm actually going to do a diamond shape by cutting 2 diagonal lines. Now I'm going to finish off my snowflake by changing that outer edge. I'm going to use my scissors and I'm going to echo the line that describes the edges of the shapes that I already have. Because that's going to make my snowflake just a little bit more interesting to look at. Alrighty, beautiful. Now I'm going to unfold and reveal the amazing snowflake that I've created. And there you have it, another beautiful, wonderful snowflake. You can get really creative with snowflakes. Remember, as we're creating our snowflakes, we are thinking about positive and negative space. All of our amazing paper scraps should go into the recycling. When you're done though, please post your snowflakes to Seesaw and then find an awesome spot to hang them up, maybe on a window somewhere near you. I can't wait to see what you create.